So it's March the 11th, I think, today. It's a Monday, and it is launch day. Here's Jane in the car park. They've done most of the little boats. Supposed to launch yesterday, but it was just too windy.
We're all ready to go, I think. We've done all the jobs. We've got the replaced the fridge anodes. So it's our keel-cooled fridge, and there's a couple of wee anodes on there that just need to be replaced each year. One of the fancy Nicholson hull anodes is recessed in the hull, but that's been fine for a couple of years now. We don't use it very much. And then a new anode on the Featherstream prop made by Darglow, which is a feathering prop, though it changes the pitch. It sits like that when we're sailing, so the prop doesn't spin. International don't make the Trilux boot line anymore, so we've gone with Hempel hard racing, and we'll see how that does. And then she's had a wee bit of a wash, not polished her this year. She was pretty good condition from last year, but we've put on a UV, a GRP sealer. The crane that gets brought into Tarbert every year is good for about 9 tons. Well, I think Sandy, crane driver, says 10 tons is his limit. Chain's pretty heavy. She will comfortably sit around 9.5 tons fully loaded. So before she goes in the crane, we actually strip her out. So you'll see all the cushions, all the lockers, absolutely everything is empty. So this is a stripped out racing version of a Nicholson 35 that weighs in at about 8 tons, which is obviously well within the limit of the crane. So while we've got a bit of time, just show you one of the other big modifications a few years ago was we re-engined Jane. She's got a Beta 35 that's been installed. There's a hydraulic drive, which you can't really see because all the gubbins for the hydraulic drive is around the back. But the engine's been installed the right way around, which means it's easy to service, which is a massive improvement on the old Perkins 4108 that used to sit in here, where all the impeller was, she was in the wrong way around, so the impeller and the fuel filter and everything was at the back, and the hydraulic drive was at the front. So that's a big improvement for us over previous years. The hydraulic drive is a bit unique. This just in here is a hydraulic oil tank, header tank, and then around the back there's filters and a 4-port valve, and then the hoses that come forward down to the hydraulic motor, which is actually sat underneath the boards just here. So this is the hydraulic motor with the shaft going out of the back of the keel. So yeah, it's a novel arrangement, but it actually works really well. We do hydraulic oil change maybe once every 5 to 7 years roughly. So it's been proved remarkably reliable. The only incident we had once was when one of the hydraulic hoses split, and all the hydraulic oil, about 40 litres of it, got pumped into the bilge, and we obviously lost power. But you know what, that was pretty straightforward. Replace the hose, fill the system with hydraulic oil, and you're away again. So yeah, it's a simple system, and it seems to work pretty well. The project that I'll be doing shortly is we've got 2 lithium batteries to replace these 2 lead acid batteries, so that'll be great. That's the engine battery is below these 2, so these are 115 amp hours each, so that gives us, if you use about 50% of a lead acid battery, so that gives us 115 amp hours approximately. The new batteries are from Roma, and they are 160 amp hours each, so that means that we'll have 320 amp hours, of which we can use 80%. So we're pretty much doubling, just over doubling, I think, the capacity of our battery storage, which is fantastic, because that means we'll be able to run the fridge as long as we like, run the autohelm as long as we like, and I think we'll have probably about a week that we can go without actually having to either run the engine or hook up. So that's pretty exciting change this year. Our biggest criticism is that the prop coming off the back of the keel like that means that there's absolutely zero prop wash. The prop is pitched down, coming out the back of the keel, and then the rudder aft. The prop wash is pretty much going below the rudder, so we don't get any prop wash at all. We get plenty of prop walk, so it does make fun when you're going into marinas and tight spaces to turn her around. So this is a newer Nicholson 35, and you can see the prop arrangement. Nicholson obviously decided that they'd done something wrong, so the prop arrangement is entirely different. The rudder's been lengthened, and instead of the hydraulic drive, they now have a Z drive, and you can see that the prop is right on the back of the rudder, so that makes her a lot more controllable than we have.
So her cover's off, the shore power's disconnected. We've got ropes attached to her front and back ends in order to stop her swinging when she's on the crane. Fenders are in place to stop the straps rubbing against her tow rail when she's up in the air. And we've just got to wait for them to launch a couple more before us. So here it goes, our turn. Here's the crane behind me. And then it's all go, go, go. And she's climbing up, and the guys are getting the slings in place. There we go. He what a pays. Here's Sandy. He's got the crane driver. He's doing a sterling job. I'm a bit worried about the orientation of the chains against our mast. There you go, you can see it was all touching our rigging, so they're taking them back.
Because see the ones at the back, they're on.
While the boat's in the air, please take a minute to hit the like button. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to our channel?
Here we go, going up. Oh, I can't watch. So now we've got to do a little bit of anti-foul where the pads were. Definitely hate this launching lark, it's all a bit too scary. But she looks like she's safe in the slings, and she's just finishing off the anti-fouling, and then she's got to go flying up in the air, round the back of the crane and into the water. So she should end up somewhere there, and then she'll get a tow over to the pontoon. Fingers crossed it all goes according to plan. Up and away.
All right?
Yeah.
Go and jump in the boat.
Yeah. Davey says I'll ask Davey to go with you. Oh. She's a big girl to go flying. Look at that. It's going up and round. This high water was about 20 minutes ago. So spot on time. There is some breeze, but not very much. And she is going down. And that's her. Got a little bit of water underneath her now. Baby, well done. Spot on.
Yeah, the strokes are still underneath it. The strokes are still under her at the stern. Have you got it here yet?
I'm a bit worried about the strops. There go the strops. Phil's towing her over to the pontoon.
David, you make the line go on the boat.
There we go. And there's all the chain going back that way. We're going to do All Well Last next. There she is. Davey's on the bow. Can we come in here? Back in her berth. So here she is, all back in her berth, where she's meant to be. A bit grubby from being on the hard over the winter. Had lots of people climbing on board to launch her, but we'll get it sorted. Happy days. So how was that then, Skipper?
That went all quite smoothly.
Didn't it?
Yeah, they didn't drop us, which is good.
No?
The engine started.
First time?
Not quite. I had to bleed a bit of air through, I think.
Oh, okay.
But I got anti-foul on my jacket.
I know. That's your new one.
That's my new one. Absolutely useless. So with the boat back in the water, we should be producing more regular episodes. And if you'd like to follow along, hit the subscribe button and join us as we continue to explore the west coast of Scotland.